Hey guys, we're back in California today. You can tell because there's a giant ball of gas in the sky called the sun. But ironically, for this tutorial, we're going to go to a mythical place where it snows for 9 months of the year and hails the other 3. And that place is Berk, which is the setting of DreamWorks' How to Train Your Dragon and How to Train Your Dragon 2, which is coming out in like a week. Specifically, we're doing the textured braids that Astrid wore in the first movie and the second one.
So keep watching or click the text to jump ahead.
So this first style is from How to Train Your Dragon #1. And it's a little difficult, so you're going to have to pay attention really well, but all you need materials-wise is one large elastic. You'll also need a leather wrap or something like that to use as a headband. Now, I'm going to be using this because I don't have anything better because I'm in summer housing and I don't have a car to go to Hobby Lobby or anything like that. But you should use like a leather strap that you can find at craft stores. Or if you choose any sort of cool head circlet, headband, just something soft to go around the middle like that.
Start off this style by collecting roughly 3/5 of your hair into a half ponytail at the back of your head and divide it into 3 parts. I'll say this right off the bat, if you want to simplify what I'm about to show you, go ahead and just do a Dutch braid. But I spent a good amount of time studying the back of Astrid's head in still shots from the movie, and I figured out that the pattern she's wearing is in fact physically possible, which isn't always true of animated hair. So keep watching this if you'd like to see exactly how it's done. Step 1 is to weave the right strand you're holding over the middle strand so that it becomes the new middle strand. This is one iteration of an English braid pattern. Step 2 is the next iteration of an English braid, where the left strand weaves over the middle. Continue English braiding with these strands until you get up to 5 motions. So that was number 3, here comes 4, and then 5. Now the braid gets trickier. Holding these 3 strands with your right hand, collect some more free hanging hair on the left side of the braid. This is now the 4th strand of the braid. Weave it under the leftmost braid strand you're holding with your right hand, and then over it again so it effectively wraps around the strand once. Now weave this strand that was wrapped over the 2 strands next to it so it becomes the far right strand. Grab the rest of your free hanging hair to make the 5th and final strand. Bring this up through the braid between the far left and inner left strand, and weave it over the strand on the right so it becomes the new middle strand. Finally, the last step of this crazy braid pattern is to weave the far right strand under the inner right one and over the middle one so it becomes the middle. Now at this point in the braid on Astrid, the hair is just secured because her hair is shorter and much, much thicker than mine. But I'm going to keep going with this pattern to the end in order to demonstrate it more for you guys and to make it a more complete braid. Also, in case my earlier instructions weren't clear, I'm going to include a graphic in the box to the right to demonstrate with colored strands. Again, you'll see I wrap the far left strand under and back over the one right next to it. Then the inner left strand goes over the 2 strands next to it to become the inner right strand. The far right strand goes under everything except the far left, then wraps over the inner left strand. And finally, the far right strand weaves under the inner right and over the middle to become the new middle. Eventually I bring it over my shoulder to finish braiding since my arms can't reach any further down my back. You should do this too if you have long hair. Just be careful not to drop anything and to remember the position of each strand. Doing this in a mirror helps since you can see I'm missing some pieces of hair because I can't see what I'm doing right now. Braid this 5-strand party down to the ends and secure with a large hair tie. Lastly, tie your headband strap around your head. If you have bangs, leave them out like Astrid does. And here's the finished look for Astrid's textured braid in How to Train Your Dragon #1. sequel braid is easier. Give yourself a deep right part and gather up some hair between here and roughly the center of the top of your head. Again, if you have bangs, leave them free. Separate this hair into 3 strands and do a couple iterations of a 3-strand braid. Every once in a while, though, tie a single knot around 2 of these strands with the other. This gives the braid that bumpy texture in the finished look. It doesn't matter which direction you make the knot in, i.e., over and through the loop or under and through the loop. And in fact, it gives the braid even more texture if you vary which direction you choose. If you want the knot to be even more pronounced, wrap the knotting strand around the braid 1 full wrap before continuing to knot it around. As an alternative to knotting for anyone with extreme frizz concerns, just wrap the strand around the others a couple times before proceeding. When you're done with the knot, braid the strands normally again for 2 to 3 iterations and then make another knot. Continue braiding and knotting until you're down past your shoulder, and then just braid normally to the ends for simplicity and tie off this braid with a small elastic. Put on your headband next, leaving the small braid and any bangs hanging free. Now, separate the rest of your hair into 3 sections, incorporating the small braid into the middle section. This is going to be our large side braid. Do the same braiding and knotting technique to the ends of this braid as well. After a few iterations, you can release the small elastic from the small braid so that it blends in better with the rest of the braid. At the ends, tie off with a large hair tie, and you're finished. So what did you think? Did you like this tutorial? Leave me a comment on the video with what you think and what you'd like to see me do next. I hope you have a good time at the How to Train Your Dragon premiere, and I'll see you again later.